So yeah, you said you had a team of engineers, but like who is helping you? Obviously, um, you're not going to produce these devices or sell them for other people to run, but you must have a support team, a research staff. What's
I'm the only researcher. I lament to say that I'm the only researcher. Over the years, I have to build these instruments. So what do I mean by a research staff or engineering staff? Well, I have to contract with different companies to build everything from a vacuum tube to certain types of capacitors to Tesla coils. But at the end of the day, there's only one researcher, me. And why do I
okay?
say that? Because it's so difficult to spend your life in pursuit of this arcane subject and not to have remuneration. There's no paycheck there.
So how do you fund it?
I have other means. Thank God I have another source of income. I have other means. And this is the drawback. The Hieronymus, when I met the Hieronymus family, they barely got by. They would sell some instruments, but that's peanuts. How do we get from concept to world application? That's the real quiddity here. I would just say by a grassroots effort, we need to get the information out there. And then people have to be altruistic. No, there's no paycheck here, people. And we're looking for good-hearted people who want to be able to cure mankind of pathogenic disease.
So I know that people can pay you for like continued support from your device. How much of that goes? How much does that support your work?
I put all of that back into my work. We run it like a nonprofit. There's no money in it.
Are you willing to share your other source? Is it like inheritance or
I have an inheritance. I have an inheritance. Yeah.
Amazing. Sounds like a gift
it is.
to facilitate this work.
Yeah.
As a scientist, in grad school and then like even currently, like debate among peers, working through experimental challenges, super helpful. Do you have any peers that you rely on?
No, because nobody has a scalar energy instrument. Let me provide this analogy for you. 100 years ago, Derek, you had the only computer in the world. Would you have any peers? No. Would anybody have your knowledge of computers? No. Would anybody be able to give you advice on how to operate a computer? No. Why? It's a brand new device. It's a new concept. Well, that's where we're at with scalar energy. I don't know of anybody who has a functioning scalar energy instrument. Hence, nobody has my experience. Hence, I have no peers.
You don't want to perpetuate more scalar instruments because it's dangerous. So you're kind of limiting your ability to have peers because you want to keep it to yourself?
No, I don't want to keep it to myself. If somebody stepped forward and they said, Tom, I'm willing to make this a career and spend a great deal of my life at this and study this with me, I would share all of my notes with them. But, by sharing all of my notes with them, then what? Where are we at? What are they going to do with it?
Probably just what I'm trying. Twice the vehicle to deliver this research.
Okay, and whenever somebody, if you want to do that, Derek, come show up on my front door.
I'm just thinking, like,
I'm being facetious. I'll share with you or anybody my results. I'm not going to share with anybody the schematics. But the key is this. The world has to see the merit. And I think the best way right now moving forward is to show people, to prove that we can destroy a microbe, a germ, a virus, a bacterium. If the world sees that merit, then they will start to embrace this concept. If the world doesn't see the merit of destroying the HIV virus, I can't do anything more, Derek. I can't.
I guess where I'm coming from is, there's always a chance that I don't know, you might die, or somebody might try to shut you down. And I'm looking
Right.
for redundancy, like ensuring this information is available to be continued work, like even,
Yeah,
in the next several decades. So do you have a
I
plan for
agree.
that?
I agree. And the plan is to keep promoting this until somebody takes this up. I'm going to give you an analogy. When I met the Hieronymus family, this is back in the 90s, the Sarah Hieronymus, the wife of the inventor, knew that I was very serious. So she handed over to me many of these instruments and the notes, and she shared with me much of his research. To this day, I'm the only one that I know that is following up the work with Galen Hieronymus. So out of 7.9 billion people on the planet, why is it that I'm the only one who's taken the time and effort to follow up on this? You have to ask yourself that question. And when I die, who's going to follow up on my work? It's a lifetime of work and commitment. Who is there? Tell me, who's going to step forward?
Well, I'm right now. I'm just sitting with this gratitude that I'm able to talk to you. If, if you're the world's leading researcher in this, it feels like a big privilege.
Thank you.
I'm thinking of how
I'm going to give you an
young.
analogy. There's
Okay.
another man by the name of Thomas Moray. Moray is a Mormon. He lived in Utah during his life. And he was able, as an electrical engineer, to develop scalar energy instruments. I've written about him. And Moray spent his life showing that he had a free energy device, and he was willing to give that free energy device to the US government. This is back in the 40s and 50s. But he was always stonewalled. And I think the powers that be realized that this was free energy that he had discovered. Well, to this day, Moray's family does not continue on with his work. So there's another dead end. There's another great preeminent scientist, scalar energy scientist, Moray. He developed free energy instruments. He demonstrated those free energy instruments hundreds of times, but nobody took it to the next level. Now, I'm not a fool. I'm not going to rely upon the government or big business to take this to the next level. They're going to just stifle this. This is why it's so important to keep this at the grassroots level.
Have you considered partnering with a scientific organization, like maybe not the university system, but something like IONS, the Institute of Noetic Sciences, where they have grad students coming in, or young people that are looking for a career path to learn from existing researchers?
I'd be happy to work with them. If you know of anybody you can put me in touch with, I'd be happy to work.
Okay.
Anybody.
Yeah,
I'll work with anybody. If anybody's sincere, I will work with them.
Okay, amazing. Let's continue our conversation after, and maybe we can come up with some. Because I personally, I don't know if I could handle working in such sort of isolation. I mean, I know you're probably very, the work is its own reward, but there's also like a collaborative element that is really important for humans.
Yeah. You're right. That's the proper word. I work in isolation. It's not that is my preference. I work alone. I'm an open book. I perform many podcasts and radio interviews. I'm not hiding. I'm not trying to hide. But very few people want to step forward and say, well, I'll spend the next 20, 30 years of my life doing that.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. It hasn't happened, Derek. It's not going to happen.
Well, I mean, really, we would just need people in there deciding on a future career to see this work and then identify, like, yeah, that's my path, just like how you discovered it.
Yeah. I'm of sound health. I believe I am. I have another means of income, and I have the passion. Now, if you can find that in a person, then that's the winning formula. But if somebody has to pay their mortgage, there's no money in this. You might as well work for somebody else in industry where you can get a paycheck every month.
Would it be possible to, let's say you were healing 2 million people a month and they were paying some minimal subscription, would that fund the work?
That would fund our work. You mentioned, and I've never met him, but Foster
Gamble.
Gamble, excuse me, Foster Gamble. I've heard good things about him. Never met him. Maybe he would be interested in my
about your work. Yeah.
Well, maybe he would be interested. Again, I'm rather transparent about all of this. The website speaks volumes. Visit the website. You're going to see hundreds upon hundreds of diagnostic tests. People who claim, I don't claim, they claim that they no longer have herpes or HIV or hepatitis. People who claim that they're no longer infected and their doctor said you're healed. Those aren't my claims. Those are their claims. I cannot, from a rigorous standpoint, I cannot speak for the people, and I won't. And the people speak, and it's their testimony.